In part 4 of our seminar, we're going to be given an angle, its trig function, and I want to find the values of the other trig functions for that angle. We're going to use our mnemonic device. All science teachers are crazy. So here's what happens. We know the secant of theta is the square root of 29 over 5. We know the sine of theta is positive. I want to find the exact values of the 5 remaining trig functions. Well, remember, secant theta, by definition, is r over x. I just got to figure out what quadrant that's in. And that's what I'm going to use in my mnemonic device for. So remember, all science teachers are crazy. If we take a look here at the first one, secant is positive. Secant is cosine because it's a reciprocal of cosine. We know cosine is positive in the fourth quadrant and the first quadrant. We know sine is positive. They told us that sine is positive. So that means sine is positive in the first quadrant and in the second quadrant. The one where both occur, that's where your answer is at. So in other words, when I draw my reference angle here, I know secant theta, here's my theta, is r over x. So it's a square root of 29 over 5. I need to find y so I can do all my functions. So we know x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So in other words, 5 squared plus y squared equals the square root of 29 squared. Or 25 plus y squared equals 29. Y squared equals 4. So y is 2. Now I can answer all my questions. The sine of theta is going to be y over r, or 2 over the square root of 29, which when you simplify that is 2 times the square root of 29 over 29 when we rationalize that. Cosine theta is going to be the reciprocal of secant, which is 5 over the square root of 29, which is 5 the square root of 29 over 29. Tangent of theta is going to be y over x, so it's 2 over 5. Now let's do our reciprocal functions. Cosecant theta is going to be the square root of 29 over 2. We already have secant theta. So cotangent theta is going to be 5 over 2. And there's your answer. Let's take a look at an application problem dealing with this. It says a student programmed a 10-inch long robotic arm to pick an object at point C and rotate it through an angle of 150 degrees in order to release it into the container at point D. Find the position of the point D relative to the pivot point O. So in other words, I want to find this position here. Well, we know my reference angle, theta prime, is going to be 30 degrees because your angle is 150. We know r is the length of the pivot arm, which is 10 inches. I know cosine of theta is x over r. In other words, I need to find x. I know the cosine of 30 degrees because I have it memorized. The cosine of 30 degrees is the square root of 3 over 2. Equals x over 10. Well, multiply both sides by 10. X equals 5 radical 3. let's do y. Change colors here before I forget. So y then, not y, sine of theta is y over r. Well, the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. So I get 1/2 equals y over 10. Y is 5. So my coordinates are 5 radical 3, comma 5. Now, in real life, we usually don't say 5, comma 5 radical 3. So let's use our calculator. Let's take 5 times the square root of 3. And I think that's like 8.6 something. I don't know. 5 radical 3. Let's use, 8.66. So in other words, it's 8.66, comma 5. There is an application problem for it.